Hi, my name's Amir Sadala, and you're watching No, wait, I'm not Amir Sadala. My name's Todd Graham, and this is my first vlog for the Midnight Logic blog page. Cool! Now, I know this is a new idea for everybody for this blog page, but I'm really in it with Atlee, and I want to do the best I can, so I decided to come up with my own little wrestling vlog. It'll kind of be like my week in review, almost. I won't do them every week, because I really don't give a shit every week. But this week on Raw, they had the annual draft. You know what the draft is, right? It's where they randomly select people and send them to different shows to mix it up again, as they say. Alls I know is ECW is gonna get the shaft every year. So what I'm going to do, even though I know the complete results of the draft, I'm going to give you my opinion of each draft pick when I heard it the first time. So I'm just going to go one by one for those who may have missed it. Let's start with the very first draft pick. John Cena. John Cena got drafted to SmackDown. My first thought? Good. I'm not a huge fan of John Cena, but I can't deny what the man can do and his ability to sell merchandise to children. However, getting him, no matter if he has the belt or not, he's one of the top dogs, and the other one is Randy Orton. Keeping them separate, beautiful idea. So, John Cena to SmackDown? I approve. Second pick. Rey Mysterio gets drafted to Raw. Now, Rey Mysterio has pretty much been an exclusive SmackDown guy since he came to the WWE. Pardon a few interruptions, but now he's on Raw. I always thought he was just going to retire, so we'll see what happens. Third draft pick. Randy Orton gets drafted to SmackDown. My first thought was, are you fucking kidding me? I just got done thinking to myself, oh good, they're going to separate the two alpha dogs and let's see what happens. No, they just decided to fuck it again and put them both on the same show. Nice. As great as Randy Orton is, he's not John Cena. Alright, and then we had two draft picks in a row, and those draft picks were Mark Henry and Sin Cara to SmackDown. Now my thought was, alright, Sin Cara to SmackDown. It's a taped show. He botches his entrance almost every week. Why not put him on that show? Not only that, but SmackDown traditionally does better with the Latino audience. So that's perfect. You put him on there. You just took Rey off the show. So now SmackDown has Alberto Del Rio and Sin Cara, and these guys have probably gone at it 100 times in Arena Mexico, so it might be a good match. Mark Henry, who gives a shit? Then we had another match that dictated two moves at a time, two draft picks for the winning team. Or winning match, or whatever the fuck it was. Those two picks were, Big Show goes to Raw. Big Show gets drafted every year. Who gives a shit? And then, they disappointed me when they sent Alberto Del Rio to Raw. Now, granted, Alberto Del Rio deserves to be on the A show, which is Monday Night Raw, no matter what anybody says. But he took away my match with Sin Cara, so I'm pissed about that. And in the final televised pick, Raw wins another pick and they get John Cena. What the fuck? Why did they bother? I'm sitting here thinking they should have drafted Michael Cole. Right, draft Michael Cole to SmackDown and have Jim Ross back on Monday nights. That may not be possible due to Jim's health concerns, but drafting Cena twice in one night, a little much. The only thing I could say about it is, well, John's going to keep Superman baby-facing my Monday nights, but at least they split up Randy and Cena, which is what I thought they should have done in the first place. This is just one Mark's opinion, and I think at the end of the day, not a bad selection. Now the fun didn't stop after Raw went off the air. The next day at noontime, they did the Supplemental Draft. Several more people got drafted to other shows. So we're going to detail those now, but in shorter fashion. Daniel Bryan to SmackDown. Thumbs up. He's getting real stale on Raw, and I'm a huge fan, so I want to see what he can do on SmackDown. Jack Swagger gets drafted to Raw. I don't give a shit about Jack Swagger, no matter what anybody says. The Great Khali gets drafted to SmackDown. Once again, a collective fart is heard from the WWE Universe. Jimmy Uso, of the Uso Brothers, gets drafted to SmackDown, separating the team. By the way, what the fuck's a tag team? Kelly gets drafted to Raw. Nobody cares. Because when was the last time Kelly was on TV? Or if she was on SmackDown, nobody saw it because nobody fucking watches SmackDown. JTG gets drafted to Raw. I'm a big fan of JTG as a single. Never liked his partner Shad. Always liked JTG. So hopefully, he'll have an incredible push on Superstars. Alyssa Fox gets drafted to SmackDown. See, the whole idea of Diva drafting makes no sense to me because they unified the Divas Championship, which means it can be defended on any show, which means it doesn't fucking matter what show you're on. And I'm reminded of the Bellas doing a stupid promo, maybe it was last week, where they said, you know, Eve, if you get drafted to SmackDown, you'll never get another shot at the title. Bullshit! The title is for both shows, you stupid bimbos! William Regal and Yoshitatsu are both drafted to SmackDown. As much as I'd like to see William Regal still wrestle, ain't gonna happen. And Yoshitatsu, he's got a lot of potential to be the next Funaki. Triple H's girlfriend, Drew McIntyre, gets drafted to Raw. And the WWE Universe collectively gets up to get a hot dog. Nice finish, though. Natalya Neidhart is going to SmackDown. See earlier comment about divas. Silent Library participants Kurt Hawkins and Chris Masters are drafted to Raw. Once again, they're never going to see the light of day on Raw. That's why they were in the Supplemental Draft. In an amazing bit of luck, Jey Uso gets drafted to SmackDown, reuniting the team. Kofi, I'm from North Andover, Massachusetts, Kingston, gets drafted to Raw. You know, I had a lot of faith in the man, but he's gotten real stale. It's probably time to start doing something interesting, like killing cops. Ted DiBiase Jr. and Tyson Kidd get drafted to SmackDown. Personally, Ted DiBiase, his ship has sailed. On a boat. He's a very boring individual. And Tyson Kidd has the ability and potential to be great. And hopefully something happens. Hopefully he actually, utilizes his potential. Tamina gets drafted to SmackDown. Well, golly gee, now she can be reunited with that team that I don't know who gives a fuck about. Tyler Rex to Raw. Next. In an interesting draft pick, Alex Riley gets drafted to SmackDown, separating himself from WWE Champion The Miz. Well, it could be interesting. It's too bad it won't be. My favorite diva of all time, Beth Phoenix, gets drafted to Raw, which puts a lock on Awesome Kong debuting on Raw. But you already knew that. Stupid thing is I hear, according to the sheets, they're planning on making Awesome Kong's first feud with Beth Phoenix. What a stupid fucking idea that is. You know how you use Awesome Kong? You feed the little girls to her until she builds up her way to Beth Phoenix. Then you put her and Beth in the ring at SummerSlam or Mania, and then see what happens. No, chances are they're just going to blow their load in the first 2 weeks, and then they're not going to know what to do with the big black female wrestler. It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen. And in the final supplemental draft pick, Sheamus gets drafted to SmackDown. Good. Question now becomes, what's going to happen at Extreme Rules? Because both shows need a secondary title that doesn't mean anything, and Sheamus holds one of them, and Wade Barrett holds the other one, and now they're both on SmackDown. So, whoever's defending their title at Extreme Rules is losing it. And now, for my very Jerry Springer-like final thoughts. The draft, it happens every year, and we do get a couple of interesting things out of it every so often, and there were a lot of interesting draft picks this year. I think that's what they were going for, considering Edge had to retire. And might I say what a goddamn shame that is. I'm always going to remember that guy being a great performer. Thankfully, when he had to retire, what the fuck else did he have to do? He was just kind of hanging around, holding that belt. So at the end of the day, maybe all was for the best. But this was my first entry into the Midnight Logic, and I'm not entirely happy with it, but I'm sure I'll come back with something better, funnier, whatever, later in the future. So, if you liked what I did here tonight, my name is Todd Graham, and if you hated what I did tonight, my name's Justin LeBar, and you just got done watching the Chair Shot reality. Thank you and good night.